Are you sure, Paul?
Yes.
Paul, are you sure we are live?
Are you absolutely sure?
Are you sure we went live?
Oh, maybe not.
Because my
Oh,
YouTube
it says going live.
Updating yet.
I don't know. We should be live. We have 2 viewers. Okay, I don't know. Well, you should. It says YouTube says it's live. Oh, that's weird.
My screen. Well, maybe my screen is just frozen. I will start YouTube again.
Okay, let me stop sharing my my screen, and then see if the quality goes up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's just jumped up to 1080p. Again.
Okay.
Like my preview is now pin sharp.
Okay, so the screen sharing thing. Am
I sharp on your screen,
no.
Paul?
Well,
at my screen, yes.
You are. Okay, let me try and explain this. What I'm seeing now. I can see my Skype video window, and that's okay. You're still not as sharp as Oscar, but it's okay. It's better than in the OBS preview window, because there it's even less sharp. So
in the OBS preview window, have you changed the resolution in the window properties?
Well, I haven't on purpose. I haven't done that on purpose. Let me try and see.
Have the GDI properties or something. See if you're running.
I can try and see what your source says, and if there's anything. Highest bandwidth, sync is network, allow hardware acceleration. Is there any? I don't think I can. Well, not from this point. I can choose nothing. Just highest bandwidth and that. So I couldn't do that. Let me try if I can do something else. Let me see if I can do a transform thing. Probably not. Skill filtering. Yeah.
Transformers.
I can try and do bilinear skill filtering, whatever that means. That's not it.
So I look okay in the Skype preview, but in OBS it's blurry.
Well, you're also not particularly. I mean, Oscar's looking a lot better. I mean, like sharpness wise, than you are. So even in Skype, your picture is not as good as Oscar's. But then it gets a little bit worse in OBS. But the same goes for Oscar. It's just that because you start off with a worse picture, it gets even worse in OBS. And Oscar stays okay. So I can't find any reason on this side, but that doesn't mean that there is no reason on this side why that would be. But let's just try and figure this out online. Why not?
Sure.
Just one question for Edwin. He says, "Yeah, you just came online." Edwin, did you when the stream started? Did you just did you see it from the start, or did you see it just cutting in when we were already discussing stuff? Because something weird happened there. Oh, he deleted his message. He's just. Anyway,
that's a very loud and clear. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to you. Yeah, no, it's fine. Anyway, so the thing is that anything that I can do now, but now we are obviously live and everything is live. So I don't know if there are settings that I can change while live that I might be able not to change, any other way. But
bug test all of this when we're live. It makes for a nice professional feel to the show.
I don't care about that at all anymore. That I forgot about that whole thing a long time ago, and that's a good thing because we can still do another year of trying to become professional. Anyway, let's see what we can do here. Latency mode is normal. There is no real choice for me. The only thing what I can do is just make your thumbnail really small.
just like try and make it appear to be sharp by shrinking it down on the screen.
Yeah, it's better now.
And then
No, that's stupid. Anyway, no, so I don't know. It's weird, and we should still find out why. But also just maybe do, I don't know, I don't know if there's anything. I mean, you have a good camera. I mean, you have a 1080p camera or whatever. So it can't be.
Pro stream.
It can't be that. So it's either a setting in the camera, which I don't think so, but it could be, or it's a setting in your Skype end for some reason. I don't know. Or
I mean, the good thing is, if you look in the Skype settings, like if you open Skype and go to settings to the camera, there's almost nothing you can change.
no, I know. It's all.
I can change my background, but
Yeah. Yeah, it's very weird, and I don't see.
I can change my white balance.
Oh yeah, that makes it really bad. Yeah. Okay, so you have control, just not
I have-
the
I have
control you
some-
want, and you can only make it worse, not better.
So Chris, do you have another camera or another device with a camera? What we can maybe not tonight, but for next time
Oh
try.
yeah, I have plenty of other cameras we can try. I mean, I can try it now if we want to really mess Paul up on the live stream.
Well, maybe that really changing cameras is maybe a better idea for next week. But
Yeah. Well, just see if it makes a difference, you know, because I can't see. Obviously, also I can't. It's difficult for me to assess how the stream actually looks like because what I see in my OBS window is not exactly what's appearing, I think, in the stream. Because in my OBS window, my camera is ultimately razor sharp, but that's because I'm local and it's a feed from my camera directly and not from Skype. So that's sort of logical. But what I can't understand is the difference between, in resolution or like sharpness, between Oscar and your feed. That's just weird. Because that should be exactly the same as far as I can tell. Edwin says the picture is fine, like best okay, which doesn't mean it's perfect, but it's watchable. So maybe we shouldn't go on too long about this, but I still can't understand why this is happening. Or it's just a bandwidth thing from the States to the Skype server, which shouldn't. I mean, that should not happen in these days.
No, because if you can look at the Skype preview and see that I'm sharp in there and it's just that I'm blurry in OBS, then it's something that OBS is doing.
Yeah, could be. But then why is it doing that thing to you and not to Oscar? It just hates you.
It just hates it.
Yeah. It hates your guts.
There's nothing complicated about it.
No.
So from which country is Skype coming or OBS? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Maybe it's Russian. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well,
That's actually why I stopped using that other camera, the one that had the twist and tilt in it.
oh yeah.
Turns out there was a lot of weird traffic going from that camera to Russia, so I thought, yeah, let's probably just turn that off for this time.
Oh, so you haven't got that one on. You've
No,
got
I've
another.
got my old Logitech one on.
Oh, now we've solved the problem. I didn't know that. I thought you were still using, because that camera was way better but because this is your old camera and it was like this all the time when you used your old camera. So maybe we should have talked about that a bit earlier than this, but
Like I said, this is the one I'm using now is a Logitech. It's a 922 Pro Stream, so it's a 1080p that runs at 30 frames a second.
it should be, it should be better, but
And it does in Skype. It's just when you put it in OBS, I guess not.
but that was the case all the time. It has been like that. That's the reason why you went for another camera.
Yeah, but guys, I have a Logitech HD Pro webcam C920.
Yeah, that's exactly the same as what I've got.
So it's still strange.
C920.
Yeah, the
that's
C920.
exactly what I'm using here.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Well, I'm out of thoughts.
Chris, well, but I will ship my camera to you, and you ship your camera
exactly.
to me. Yeah.
Then you
see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, let's be blurry. Take turns in being blurry.
Take turns in being blurry.
Anyway, we've just spent 15 minutes talking about absolutely nothing, which we do well, by the way. But it's still a mystery. Let's try and find ways to test this for the next time. But it's okay enough to carry on, and maybe we should just talk a little bit about last week. What happened? Well, a lot happened in the world, but we don't need to go on about that. We talked about that last week, I think. It's scary still, and it gets more scary every day. So it's a bad situation. But Formula One news is maybe.
There's Formula One. There's also Rivian.
Yes. Formula One, Rivian, Lego.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I found an website.
What did you just do,
well,
Oscar? You did something, and your picture has swapped. Yes.
Really?
Why did you do that?
No.
Now, I'm just wondering. You did something which caused your video picture to resize. Now it's back to normal.
Okay.
Have we found something? What did you do?
I clicked on the browser.
Okay,
so
don't do that.
So, does his picture change if I do this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All I'm doing is maximizing my Skype window.
Okay, that has a direct influence on the size of Oscar's thumbnail video feed.
Okay.
I mean, how does this crap even gets out there? You know, it's the worst software ever.
So if I do that, has it changed Oscar's thumbnail?
Not yet. Not yet. No, it's okay now. Yeah, now it's gone smaller.
I literally just went from like a small window to full screen.
I mean, how? I mean, why is everything crappy?
Yeah.
Okay, but Oscar is.
Why
Yeah.
if I resize my window, does Oscar's video change on your machine?
It's the Russians. It's the Russians.
It's the Russians.
This is fantastic.
But now the strange thing must happen. If I now go to full screen mode, Chris should change.
Maybe
or not.
there's a bit of latency, but let's wait and see what happens.
I just did it, so let's see what's happening.
It's still okay now. So let's wait for another couple of seconds. But
I think I became bigger again.
no, you're still the same size. Everything, nothing really changed.
Let's try this.
Let's try this.
Well.
Okay, now you've really done something bad because this now I just have a way oversized Skype logo.
How is this doing anything to your screen?
And now, oh my God, what did you do?
We are sitting in a plane.
Yeah, but it's okay. Oscar's back to normal now.
Oh.
But Chris is still the oversized Skype logo.
I have no idea why when I change my screen, it affects you guys. That makes no sense.
But that's why we can never figure out what happens. I mean, it's unoutfigurable. The only problem I've got now is that right now the screen is completely fucked up. I mean, there's no way we can continue in this fashion because everything is completely out of whack. So I can see an oversized forehead of Chris, and I can see a blue Skype logo where Oscar's video normally should be. So whatever you did, turn it back to what it was before because this obviously doesn't work.
No, I'm in Skype. I'm still in the airplane.
Yeah,
Chris.
Oscar's back to normal now.
Okay.
Only Chris is still problematic.
Is that any better? I mean, all I'm doing is going to speaker view and grid view.
No. Now Oscar's back again and your picture's way too big.
I'll leave and come back.
Yeah, what's really bugging me is that you can't get it back to what it was. Oh, now it's sort of okay. I think.
Why is Oscar sitting? Why are me and Oscar sitting in an airplane?
Yeah, that was my question all the time already. I thought you did this.
Okay, guys, this show is turning out to be great.
This is
because our thumbnail is unboxing a Formula 1 car, and all we're doing now is debugging Skype and OBS. Which might, I mean, it might have more viewers than normal. We'll see.
Well, maybe make the title when you put it on online. How to fuck up OBS.
Yes.
And then,
well, that's pretty easy to do.
Yeah. But we are still in the airplane.
Yeah, and I still have a Skype logo.
So Oscar, in the top right side of your screen, it says view.
No. Oh, I'm in the together mode.
Yeah, turn that into grid view.
Oh, yeah.
Are you in grid view?
Yeah. Now I see you again one-on-one. Yeah.
Did that fix it, Paul?
Well, what you did turned my Skype into the other view too. So I was in the wrong view too, but I didn't do that. You guys did that.
Yeah.
So now I have also gone back to grid view, and now everything is normal again. Although I now need to resize the windows again to get it sort of normal, but I can see all the video feeds again, which is a win.
When you edit this video, should we cut the first 20 minutes off and just do a short show?
No, we need to keep this. This this is just so good. I mean,
right. Let's move on. If everything's back to how it was, let's move on.
Well, I'm still trying to resize all the video screens back to where it was, but I think we are okay now. Sound is still there. Welcome back, viewers, if you're still there. We have just gone through an epic series of events.
I discovered that if I change my Skype screen in America, Oscar disappears on Paul's screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
The whole problem seems to be that if in this group call one of you changes a view, it also changes the view on my end of Skype. Yeah. For some reason. And that causes the problem. Because I am now in grid view, but I was in together mode for some reason. And I did not do that. So something you're doing on your Skype is affecting my view. Which should never happen, obviously.
That's excellent. I love that.
That's the scariest thing I've heard in a long while. But because that means a loss of control, and I hate that. So anyway, let's move on to other things. Formula 1, I think, was one of the topics that we were going to talk about.
Yay!
Oh, Chris is Chris, you're sharp now. Your picture has just jumped to excellent.
Good.
Don't move. Yeah. Sit still.
I'll just sit here and not move.
How does this? Really?
Oh, Oscar, you look like a 1980s video game on my screen now. I think it's because Skype is trying to adjust the picture constantly for bandwidth instead of just allowing you to say always be 1080p.
The whole problem is that software is doing things for you because it knows best. And that is the worst thing that software has ever done. because that always causes the problems. I mean, that's why airplanes crashed. Software should never, ever do something in the background.
Well, look at Tesla. That's why people keep crashing Tesla cars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is nobody ever stopping that? Because that's the most dangerous thing. Software does something, you don't know about it, and it changes something so that it suddenly behaves differently. Which is just the
topic for a whole other show.
We should have a topic on that on a whole other show, because that's just the worst. You know, that takes away the foundation of our existence. Anyway, let's move on to nicer things. Let's move on to Formula One. Formula One. Okay, I am still in the process of hating Hamilton more. I mean, that gets worse every week. So I don't know where that's gonna go. What happened to was it this week? Well, obviously, something that we already thought was gonna happen happened, and Mazepin has been.
Mazepin's gone.
He's gone.
Has left the building.
He has left the building together with Urakali. Urakali was already a fact that they'll be gone, but not Mazepin. So now they're talking about a successor. Pietri is now, or no, what's his name? Fittipaldi is now testing for them, but they haven't officially said that he's gonna take his seat. But we should all probably expect him to be taking that seat, but it's not official yet. It's just that he's doing the testing for him. So, well, not a big thing. I mean, it's also a bad driver, I think, so it doesn't really make a big difference. But that was pretty big. Then, of course, Russian Grand Prix are off the calendar for forever, or at least until something really different happens. And Imola is on the calendar for another, I think, 5 years or so. I heard that too, which I like, because Imola is one of the few classic circuits. I think you've got Monaco, you've got Imola, you've got a couple of more, but that's Monaco, Imola, and some more.
Cool. So did you see there was a YouTube video this week from the race, which is a YouTube channel that does F1. You know, they do these little 10-minute F1 videos every now and then. And they were doing some interesting analysis of the side vortices on the cars, because in the last day of practice, or the last day of testing, they test on an artificially wet track. So they spray the track.
Okay.
And once they did that, you could see all of the vortices around the bottom of the car and the wings and everything. And it was interesting because they showed the vortices that form around the bottom of the outside edge of the floor pan.
Yes.
Car.
Yes.
They were quite mild on most cars, and most of the cars had like a little lip down the side to try and seal the air in to stop it from escaping under the floor and out to the side.
Yeah.
The McLaren has these super, super strong weight vortices, like really, really strong, like little horizontal tornadoes that run down the side.
Yeah.
They sort of seal the air into the gap between the car and the road.
Yeah.
And the car and the track.
Yeah.
So instead of them having like a mechanical device that tries to stop the air from leaking out, they're using these really strong weight vortices to hold the air under the car.
Yeah. Cool. Smart.
Really clever.
It's clever. Yeah. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, if you look at some of the slow motion videos from when they were testing in the wet, the airflow off the cars is radically different this year to what it's been the last 15 years. Really, really different.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That's nice. Yeah. I mean, I didn't see that, but that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then there was some news about people saying, the Red Bull is saying, oh, you haven't seen anything yet. We're just testing, and our car is going to be radically different when it's going in its first race. They would obviously say that. Others say, well, it looks like the Red Bull isn't as much evolved, even as the Haas. So I don't know what that means, but that sounds like a bad thing, but I'm not sure. Well, I think, is there any other big news from Formula One this week?
Not from Formula One.
Not really, no.
Right. Okay. Well,
Do you have something on the floor behind me?
yes. Let's just go to that part because Chris has done a thing.
He did it again.
He did again. Chris has done a thing.
So I don't know how much of the video you can see, but
I can make your. I'm gonna make your video larger.
Yeah.
Larger.
See a nice brown box.
Yes.
I bought a brown box.
Oh, that's so cool. I always plan on buying brown boxes and never do it.
This is what I'm going to live in after Putin starts lobbing
Yeah.
missiles. I've got a nice paper blanket to keep me warm.
Yeah.
My box is the wrong way around.
Oh. Oh, that's a box of paper. Brown box with brown paper.
Wow. Ta-da!
Wow, there he is. This is so cool. Oh, your video's gone blurry again. This is the exactly the right moment where this should happen.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Anyway,
It's not focusing.
well, that might be the problem. No, I also think the quality's gone down again. I don't know why, but anyway, we can still see it.
Let's give it something to focus on.
Yes, well, it's definitely a great thing. I really like that. I mean, I've seen. Did you see that video of that German guy who totally sort of smashed it like this was the worst thing ever?
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think it is. I think it's pretty cool. And it's great that you've got it already. It's been pretty quick.
I ordered it on the day it came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see which end do I want to. Let's open this end.
Okay, let's do. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
this is the official unboxing of the Lego Formula One 2022 McLaren.
Which we know isn't really.
Which is not. It's just a generic Formula One car, really, with McLaren colors.
I mean, it's a box full of Lego. So
Yeah, that's always nice.
That's the
Stickers.
interesting part with all the stickers and everything, and then the rest of it obviously is just lots and lots of
Yeah,
pieces
lots
of
and
Lego.
lots of states. Is she the manual, or the booklet, or?
But yeah, it arrived a couple of days ago.
It's cool. It's cool.
The stickers are going to be interesting because it looks like they've got the stickers for the wheel covers that you have to put on yourself.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
that means I can be guaranteed they'll be on just slightly off,
Yeah.
so the wheels go like this.
Yep. That's virtually impossible to center correctly.
The one thing I might do is if you watch Racing Brick's video, Walesh said at the end, he lists a couple of the different wheel types that you can get from different kits.
Yeah.
Because one of the complaints they had was the rear wheels and the front wheels on this kit are both the same width.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tires.
Yeah.
And he said that if you use these two different wheels off these different kits, you can get like a wide tire and a thin tire, and it makes the whole car look much better.
Okay.
So I might just order those as like spare parts from Lego for whatever they are, like $2 or something, and put them on instead.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'll build the car first, and I'll show you the progress when there's progress.
That would be very good. I mean, great. Congratulations on that. It's a real nice kit, and I'll be very interested to see how that all goes. How that all goes. So, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Very cool.
The back of the box has got some interesting
back of the box.
How many bricks are in there in the kit?
A lot.
2022. No, no, it's about 1300 or 1700 or something.
1432.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Back of the box.
Oh yeah, with some more pictures of. That angle is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks cool.
Yeah.
You can see a little bit of the V6 through that little hole. Yeah, it looks
interesting that they put that in there. Like I heard a lot of people complain, they're like, you can't see the engine in a Formula One car.
No, but that's just. I just don't. understand why people would complain about that. But anyway, it's
Because,
it's obviously
because
not.
people like to complain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's obviously not a one-on-one copy, and that's virtually impossible to do anyway. Because, I mean, it's one of the best kept secrets in the world how a Formula One car looks when it's released. So how would Lego know that before anyone else anyway? So that's just you could never do that. And then again, it's Lego. I mean, it's not like a scale model thing.
But it's just one of those things that even some of the other YouTube reviewers said that if you look at the metal, like the die-cast cars and everything, there's a reason they haven't come out yet. It's because they're all waiting to see what the final version of the 2022 car is.
Exactly.
True.
So,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what it is. So I can't understand people complaining about that. I mean, you can make the you could make the remark and just sum up all the things that are not like the real car, but you're not going to do that with a Lego house, or they're not going to do that with Diagon Alley, Harry Potter's thing. That's just stupid. I mean, why would you even with Lego start doing that? But well, people like to complain. That's just the thing.
People like to complain.
Yeah. I agree.
I like to complain.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, it's a great car, and I would love to see your progress on that.
I will have something for you as soon as I have something.
Yes. Yeah, that's cool.
Let's talk about Rivian.
Yes. What happened there?
Yeah.
So, what happened? That's the question.
Yeah.
So at the beginning of last week,
I think it was. It was just after. Yeah, it was right after our show.
Everything's been going in slow motion for the last 2 years. So it was just after our show last week. On Tuesday night, I got an email from Rivian that said, "We're increasing the price of your car," and I thought, okay.
Yeah.
And then there was another email that arrived about an hour later that said, "Here are your new pricing details." And the price of my configuration had gone up by $18,000.
Wow.
And the explanation they gave was supply chain and inflation.
Yeah.
Inflation is not 24%.
No.
So what happened after that was I was disappointed, obviously, and I talked to my wife about it for a bit, and I read a lot of the opinions online, and of course a lot of people just instantly went no, and they cancelled their orders.
Yeah.
And I looked at this and I went, this has to be a mistake, because historically in America, at least, if you pre-order a car, if you put a deposit on a car, that locks the price at the price when you put the deposit on it.
Yeah.
Now, as it gets closer to delivery, if the price goes up, you're capped at that price that you reserved it at. And if the price goes down, sometimes you get the lower price, but it doesn't ever go up.
No.
No. And it's not official. There's nothing in law, but it's one of those unwritten rules of car selling in America. People that pre-order lock in the price, and that's the way it works. So they jacked up the price for everybody. Some people's configurations went up by as much as $24,000.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Obviously, this was very, very unpopular. Conservatively, they think they had about 17,000 cancellations of those.
Yeah.
And but I sat and I waited and I waited and I waited, because I thought this has to be a mistake.
Yeah.
They're trying so hard to build a new brand, to build a community, and then for them to suddenly just turn into Ford.
Yeah.
It's like this is going to destroy them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I waited, and then on Thursday afternoon, so 2.5 days later, there was a letter from RJ, who's the CEO, and he basically apologized first thing, and I'm like, okay, an apology is a good start.
Mm-hmm.
and he said, you know, obviously the supply chain and inflation is something that we're having to contend with. And he said, but we hadn't quite understood how many of you had, I think the word he used was assumed. He said, how many of you assumed that the price that you put your deposit on was the price that you were going to get?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, we grossly misunderstood this whole thing. And he said, you know, I've been trying to grow this company for 12 years from when I first started, and he said, I've made a lot of mistakes, and this was the most painful mistake I've ever made. And he said, what you can see is it takes a long time to build trust, but it can be destroyed in seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they basically said, you know, if you had a pre-order before March the 1st, which is basically everyone who had a pre-order, you will get your original pricing back.
Okay.
And it wasn't just for the early pre-orders. So it wasn't just for the people that ordered way back in 2019. Yeah. It was everybody who ordered before March the 1st.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And he said they then went a step further, and they said, if you were one of the people that canceled straight away,
mm-hmm.
and you're still interested and you still do want your configuration,
mm-hmm.
we will reinstate your previous order at the old price. Okay. You know, so
okay.
They did all the right things, and I think they've realized what a catastrophic disaster it would have been if they'd have stayed where they were.
Yeah, but okay.
And what they've done is they've said, okay, so anybody that's doing a new order from March the 1st, you will be paying the higher price based on the options you pick. But everybody, all of these 70, 80,000 pre-orders that we've got, you all go back to your original price. And, you know, so I'm like, okay, he's done the right thing. I'm glad I didn't cancel. So I'm still there. I'm still like, okay, I'm sticking with my pre-order. Let's just ride this out and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
About, I would say 20% of the community haven't got to that point yet. A lot of them are like, no, I don't trust them
anymore. Yeah.
You know, so, but my pre-order is still far enough away that they have another year now to try and make it right, if you like, to try and get my trust back personally. So
well,
so I'm still in.
Yeah,
I still have my configuration. I've still got my deposit down, but I just have to watch and see what they do for the next year now.
Well, you know, it's a very bizarre story, and what's most weird about it is that if this is true, if they just underestimated the reaction and they didn't understand this, which I find hard to believe, but even if, is that whole management team, everybody in that meeting, did not understand.
That was the thing, was how many people did this go through before they said, yes, this is a good idea?
I would have liked to see that meeting. Yeah. Where only the CEO says we're going to do this, and 10 management team members are jumping up and down and pounding their fists on the table saying no. And he said, I'm going to do it anyway. That's.
So let me tell you what I think happened. So RJ Scaringe, the guy that owns the company, the guy who started the company, the guy who's the CEO. He has been very, very involved in every aspect of the company, from marketing to manufacturing to design. And it was getting to the point where he was just so overloaded that he had to start delegating. He had to start to let some of his baby go.
Yeah.
And I think what might have happened was he might have handed over the reins of a certain part of the company to do with marketing and pricing and things. And they sort of made a decision without him, and
could be. Yeah.
Maybe they bulldozed it through, and then after the fact, he kind of went, I told you so.
Yeah, could be. And he, of course, needs to take the blame, and that's... Yeah, that's another... So that's possibility 2. So possibility 3 is that...
It's always hard to know exactly what happened, but you have to have some faith at some point you know, that they're going to try and make it right, because they have expended so much energy trying to build the brand and trying to get people interested, trying to get the pre-orders in. That for them to just destroy it in one email seems so.
The thing that's it's weird. What's slightly worrying is because we had the two possibilities of what has happened. The third is maybe that there is something money-wise, investor-wise, whatever, something that really makes it almost impossible to survive if they go on selling these cars to the prices they promised. They just underestimated costs or whatever. And it could be also inflation and demand and everything, you know, the supply chain. That could all mean that their whole profit margin is down, or they're making a big loss, or even bigger than they thought, and that they can't really swallow that, or have to find solutions to do that. That's another thing. And they just said, we can't do it any other way. Let's just do a Hail Mary and just try it and see what happens. And then obviously it went worse than they would have thought, but that could be a third solution or way.
I know they said, like, they had the CFO, the Chief Financial Officer. She was talking about this 8 or 10 weeks ago. So she and RJ, they had this sort of public meeting where they were talking about the cost of building vehicles, and you know, their general attitude was, right now, because we have the capital from all of the investment, we are more interested in building the brand and getting vehicles into people's hands than we are about making profit.
Yeah.
And I think someone might have come in and gone, no, you need to worry about profit now.
Yeah.
And that's what caused this. And I think what happened then was they went, this is great, but you just lost 17,000 pre-orders. You just lost close to $2.5 million worth of revenue.
Exactly. And that's worse. That's worse than the other solution, probably.
You made it worse.
Yeah, you made it worse, Could be. It could be something or a mix of all that. But one other thing that's now a little bit worrying is that they still have that financial problem.
Yeah.
And they cannot fix that by asking a higher price for the sales that are already there. No, so something has to give. So either someone needs to do another investment, like 100 million or whatever, how many 100 million investment to make this all go away, and hope that the brand gets so big in another 5 years that it doesn't matter at all. That's one solution. Or they're gonna do something, you know. They're gonna use other materials. They're gonna double down on quality. I don't know.
This is what they were trying to do. Is they were trying to introduce a new price point for a cheaper version of their vehicles, because, like Tesla did at the beginning, you start with the most expensive one because that's where the money is to try and get some revenue in.
Yeah.
And then you offer the cheaper ones later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was the point where they were trying to come up with a pricing structure for the cheaper versions. You know, so the ones that have less specification, the ones that have 2 motors with smaller batteries and things like that are, you know, much lower down the market to get more people interested later. But when they priced those, they took a couple of things that were originally built in to the price of the original pre-orders and split them out into options.
Yeah.
And it was that splitting out of these things into options that caused the price to jump. So when they basically said, okay, the original Explorer package or whatever comes with this battery and these motors. And they said to make the cheaper version, it needs to come with a smaller battery and 2 motors. So their logic was, let's take the motors and the battery out of the car price and just make a price for the vehicle.
Yeah.
Then the options become how big a battery do you want and how many motors you want. And when they did that, it blew up the pricing structure.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of what caused this sudden massive price increase for everyone. But like I said, I have easily a year to go before they deliver anything to me. So I'm willing to stick it out for another year because, I mean, it's only $1,000 on the pre-order.
Yeah. It's
I can get that back anytime I want up until they deliver the car to me. So I'm happy to stick around.
Of course,
If the whole company disappears in the next 12 months, okay, it's $1,000 I didn't really want to lose, but
No.
It's not like I paid for a new car and they never gave it.
Exactly. I understand completely that you want to stick it out and just stay in there and just keep track on what they're doing. see how that goes. But it's a bizarre situation, bizarre story.
Yeah. Well, I sometimes think also that they did it actually on purpose. But
it's possible.
Yeah.
It's because, well, what did you say? So 20% of the guys who did stop their contract.
70,000.
Yeah, there were 70,000, but now 20% is not coming back. So well, they got rid of what is it? 15,000 cars for a too low price. So
the other thing is that
it might have worked.
That's now shrunk the amount of vehicles they have to build to get them into people like my hands.
Yeah.
So I might end up with a vehicle earlier because enough people left.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that was the intention. Maybe their intention was put the price up, see how many people stay, put the price back down, see how many come back, and I bet we're down here afterwards.
Mm.
Yeah.
If that was the strategy, that's underhanded, but
yeah, well, you never know. And
no one ever will know.
Yeah. So but I'm not sure if I read it correctly when you were saying about it in the app last week. So they also turned it from a 7 seats back to a 5 seat, or?
For my configuration, they did.
Yeah, but that's also back now to normal.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I get my original configuration at the original price.
Okay. Okay.
At least for now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a roller coaster week for everyone involved with Rivian, and you know, you have to trust someone at some point. You can't go through your life not trusting anybody ever. So I have to trust that it wasn't vicious. It was just very, very bad decision making.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, right now, your problem has gone away, sort of, and you just now need to see what happens and just wait it out. So,
and you probably get your car quicker
than
there is that possibility. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is that people were willing to take a gamble on the price because there's a lot of unknowns. So, network of places that can do service yet. We don't know how good the quality is going to be. I mean, the previews and all the videos from people who own them already.
We are losing connection, I think.
Yeah, something's gone. Oh, there he's back. You froze. I don't know what happened, but you froze for 10 seconds or something. So the picture and
no, I was saying there's a lot of stuff when you pre-order a car that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Part of the price, or part of your willingness to pay the price, is how much you're willing to gamble on the company.
Yeah.
How much you're willing to gamble on the fact that there's not that many service centers yet. How much you're willing to gamble on how long you want to wait.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and everyone has sort of a comfort zone at which they're like, okay, I accept these risks, and this is the price I'm willing to accept those risks for.
Mm-hmm.
But when everyone's already loaded up with these risks, and then they add 20,000 to the price, that's why a lot of people went, no, I'm not willing to risk it anymore.
Yeah.
Not only is this out of my budget, you know, the price increase is ridiculous, and I'm not willing to take all of these risks for that sort of money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can go and buy a really nicely specified Audi for that sort of money from a company that has thousands of dealerships and tens of thousands of cars.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll wait and see what happens. You know, maybe I'll be in an Audi e-tron this time next year.
Yeah. Well, we could also have a nice story about an Audi e-tron. I don't know if if that's a good choice, but no, it's it's cars. The whole cars thing has gone is so much different from years ago, where everybody was trying to build good cars that last a long time and could drive a million miles without any maintenance, and that went up to 80s, 90s. And then they reached that point, and then it all turned, and they said, yeah, but we don't want to do that because then we don't sell any cars. So we need to build worse cars and get people to buy new cars every time. So we need to look at this more like CD players and televisions than cars. And now they're just trying to make you spend more and more money on new cars and do, subscriptions to stuff. And they just make sure that if whatever car you buy, after 5 years, you just need another one because there is something that stops working, or there is something that happens that you need safety regulations or whatever, and you need to buy new cars. It's just a totally different. So it's even worse. It was always a bad investment buying a car, but it's gone really terrible now. But anyway, it's a bizarre story. But we'll see what happens. I know that they're building or trying to build or thinking about building a service center in Holland for Rivian for the European market. Or like an assembly line or whatever, do something of a hub or whatever I think in Tilburg or in Born in the factory.
So I think there are actually two things happening. So maybe it's indeed just a line where they put a couple of pieces together, what Tesla did at the beginning in Tilburg. Or they are really going to produce them in Europe, in the Netherlands, and then it would be Born.
Well,
let's hope for the last one.
That could probably be a better option for us if we need to buy one. But okay. Well, we did have an interesting show. At least I thought it was pretty exciting.
It was definitely random.
It was definitely random. And I think it's almost 9 o'clock. And I think I need to. We probably should end this and have a next show for next week on Tuesdays.
So what we've learned is don't share your screen. I leave mine in grid view and I don't move any of my windows around.
Yeah. Those are the takeaways.
Those are the rules, because when I start moving windows around, it messes you up.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thanks a lot for being there, and we'll see each other next week.
Yeah.
See you all.
Bye. Bye.